Alright, let's get this started. Okay, so we need to close this guy. Yeah, we'll save you again. I'm gonna leave this up. Let's save that. I'll leave this up just in case we need to look at your guys' stuff in here for some reason. Sometimes. Okay. Where to start? Said earlier, so I think we'll start at the mud. I think it's pronounced Melenkov. Melenkov made a really awesome mud material. So let's take a look. Zen. Just getting the first image up. Okay, so substance mud material. So adding the just some of the subtle. We need the epic pen for this. Epic. Adding some of those subtle details to the footprints really helped. I take it you're trying to make this more of like a mud, right? The only other thing I would add is maybe a bit more contrast or addition of, I guess, what's the time frame in this material? Because like you were saying something about the footprints wanting to be pretty smooth, and I'm assuming that means that the time frame of like when these footprints would be made, that we didn't have shoes with intricate details on the bottom. He took it to the next level. Yes. So adding these details in here. This is, I don't know what that is, but it's cool. Just it's random breakup that's kind of disturbed mud without being unnatural. It's medieval scene. Okay, cool. So yeah, no, that makes sense. If it is a medieval scene, it might be good to add some like little fragments of either wood pieces, splinters from combat maybe. You don't like, obviously you don't want it to get too tiley, right? The horseshoe. Okay. It might be worth making a couple versions of this, right? So you have ones that have grass blades in it, or like larger rocks, smaller rocks, little pebbles. I see there are some rocks, they just don't have like, right now they're blending into the mud pretty closely, not only in value, but like the edge of the curve of the height map. Like right now it's, if you were to look at it as a side view, you have this going on for a little pebble in it, when it should be more like that, like just a sharper edge where it goes from rock to, or pebble to mud. But if you made a couple of versions of this where you have like one that's predominantly like muddy grass and then predominantly rocky, or like the mud with pieces of wood in it, small little sticks, yeah, stuff like that, then you can blend between all of those and you can really break up the detail and at the same time not get too tiley. This is cool though. It really did, like adding those little extra details really took it that much more in detail. And the amount of water in the mud is pretty good now. It's not like overly overdone. And you've got some saturation where like the mud, like I can feel that if I step on mud in this spot, make sure I can see. If I step on the mud here, it's going to be super like squishy and slimy. Later, Reeds. Cheers, dude. Looks really good now. Definitely a stronger read than the previous versions. Let's see here. We got James working on some carpet. Dude, this is like, so up close, that's freaking, that looks pretty good to me. I mean, you might even need to lay off of the strength of the normal just a little bit, just to see if it's too much or not. But you can, I mean, you can do that in Unreal or in Unity or whatever. Looks like carpet to me, though. It even looks like it's matted down a little bit. It'd be interesting if you faked the thickness of the carpet by having like the footprint pass, but very, very subtle, and where a lot of traffic is, it's like push the strength of the normals down a bit so it looks more matted down. So this is my bunny. I don't know, I just saw outside of myself and saw what I was doing, and it was horrible. You just need to bunny that material a little bit. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Lime Force. I don't know if Lime Force is in here. Yep, I see him. He's just lurking. So he's working on a motorcycle, which is super cool. Just open up a couple of these shots. Yeah, the stream's like, carpet, what? And then I believe you have some reference. Like you're going off of something in here. Oh man, I'm scared. Oh, sick. So sick. Lurking like a I don't know, like a lurker. StarCraft reference maybe? I don't know. So let's side by side this action. Let's get like a similar angle. Man, these are awesome. Actually, instead of side by side, we're going to put them under each other. God damn it. Come on, Windows. Oh, I can't do it. I got no space. I can do it in Photoshop, but... yeah, it's looking super solid, though. It looks like some of the main things to cue in are... actually, move this over here a bit. Some key things are like this size here. We're gonna need yellow. So this length and like this length here. Even here, like this piece here could be maybe a bit shorter, and then this piece needs to be quite a bit longer. This feels like it might be squished a bit. Maybe going just a bit further back. And then it also looks like if you look at the angle of that, and yours are very tight here. Like how do I Control Shift erase? There we go. Bringing that more in line like this, which would mean that you need to be doing a little bit more lean to these, so you get a little bit more of a gap inside of there. Yeah, you're actually pulling a lot of information from that shot, which is super cool. I love that you've gathered this. It's here. It just looks like check every scale thing in reference to another thing, and see how things are how things scale to each other. So like for example, see where this circle is, where it meets this. Like you have that there, but it feels like this is larger. It might just be the angle. Let's see what else we can spot. Make sure this guy is also still feeling a little low poly. You could probably add you might be able to almost double the poly count on this curve. And just because it's got that thickness to it right here, you might be able to, here, I'll do this. We'll hide those for now, and then we'll go to this. Let's see if I can't, I don't even know if I can he even? Oh, and then with a Wacom, I don't know about that. Let's see if I can do it with limited mouse space. Just gonna, so let's say that like, what do we got here? This little lip here. Let's say this is the lip. Like this. Oh man, I'm gonna get really picky. Just keep it simple. So that's the curve, right? Make sure that the curve is round enough, and you can check here. If it's not, just add more loops. Whoops. So let's say that's your curve. We'll go over here. And you bevel that, because this is probably pretty rounded. When you see there's that kind of like bluish green edge, and there's also a lip to that, you could totally do something like this. And then when you smooth it, you can just like ignore the fact that these end. I'll just delete this. You could do stuff like this. That way you get that really nice detail in the normal. I love that I can just do that. Is it one more? No. Go back. Just give this like... Oh man, no! What color was it? Was it like a purple? Yeah. Doing something like that would be super cool right on the edge. Yeah, it's definitely a huge balancing act, that's for sure. Uh-oh, now I'm getting into it. Anywho, yeah, so something like adding those, super handy. Let's see what else we got going on here. Get the eyes back. Yeah, I'm spending a little bit more time on this because it's definitely going for gold. The length of the bat. Yeah, it looks like it's just proportions. Like even the seat, like it looks like it curves up a bit more. I would totally just curve it up even further. Springs look cool. The overall like density of details is pretty nice so far. Definitely get some sharper edges on the skull shape, so that it's kind of contoured or formed a bit more. And then I'm betting that if you look at your bicycle from the front, or your motorcycle, sorry, the details are all pretty squashed in, and that's mainly because you're working off of a side view. Probably best to gather a bunch of reference and see how much stuff like comes off of the side, because like these tubes and pipes and stuff, they might actually come out further. So just like double check all of that stuff and with other reference. Super cool though. It's looking ace. Let's see. Let's look at some other stuff. Yeah, this is looking really solid though. If the kick is out, make sure that the kick is meeting the floor only if the motorcycle is leaning on it, right? If the motorcycle is straight up and the kick is touching the ground, then some asshole is gonna tip that shit over. It's gonna come by while you're in your Starbucks getting your frappe, and just tip that shit over. It's cool though. Details are awesome. It's the hot sauce. Let me see what the bag on the back is looking pretty cool too. Make sure that all of your smoothing is nice on there. Like right now you have a little bit of an error going on there. But bag and length, scale, proportions, just check everything. Reference it, like get one thing correct to it, and then you just reference everything off of that piece and just expand out from there until you get them all. It's pretty sick though, man. The reference you're looking at too is really cool. Are you planning on coloring it like that? Like keeping that style? Because you could use those colors while still doing like some really interesting stuff with normals and specular or roughness. Alright, loadout. Still trying to sort out scale before I move forward. I think I fixed most of the issues. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is looking much better. Just anything to reference scale is going to be great, because like if you probably won't have the characters in here in the end, right? So make sure to add like litter, like a texture sheet that you can place on the ground that's just of just pieces of litter and stuff. And don't worry about modeling that stuff out as well. What are you linking? Reference? Oh, right. Awesome. Oh, yeah. So I think what's possibly missing from this is like it's like this corner. Like I know you want to show the detail, but maybe getting the ads over the top of it a bit. How do I switch to this one? Control Shift 2 and 3. All right, cool. Let's see what else we're looking at here. Yeah, stuff on the ground it's everything. So like debris. This is really good that you have the snow piles that are breaking up the silhouette. Getting a decal for graffiti and stuff, like graffiti across this, like fuck the police. Maybe some tags over here. Practice that graffiti painting skills in Photoshop. The trash cans here are good. They're a tad repetitive. I might suggest taking one of them and tipping it over here maybe, and then that will help you explain some more trash, because you want to tell, like, that's the biggest thing I can suggest for anyone, is tell stories everywhere that you can. Voron's correct as well. Be careful about just referencing video games. Look at like everything. Like when we were working on The Division, we were like drowning in reference of New York. Let's see what else we got here. Trees look pretty good. They might be a little short. I'm not sure. Your snow shader looks really nice though. I would like to see some maybe some breaks in the concrete under it, just to signify that it's sidewalk. Maybe even think about doing a pattern, like the way the sidewalk pieces are put together could be a pattern. Dude, so true, Spider. So true. I think there's other things here. If you don't want to build out I would suggest at least building block out versions of the rooms up above. At least for the first floor, maybe the second floor. It could just be a box, just extruded inward. and you just map textures of the wall. Like wall textures. Some footsteps in the snow would be really nice. You can just do that with a decals, normal map decals. Maybe some bullet holes in the pillar. Model a chip out of the pillar too. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe a little splatter of blood and then the blood trails off along with footprints. Storytelling, man, it's everything. So if you model this space in, you'll get an edge there and you can see like the wall. Maybe then you can put like a lamp in the corner. Just showing stuff. This will allow you also to make some basic curtains that like do this. Those are my curtains, man. Because then that gives you window variety. Because in some of the windows you can just have straight curtains like they've blocked it, or maybe one of the windows is broken and you've got a curtain hanging out of the window, or like a community mod incoming. Oh my god, what's up, Dream? How you doing? But yeah, just layers and layers of stuff. Like make sure that there's writing on here, stickers maybe, stickers on here, tons of things. Remnants of life would be really nice, even if you don't do bodies or anything like that. Yeah, wood over the window, especially on the low ground. Like you're already doing it a bit here. And then like in those areas, we would just put like graffiti and stuff over the top of that. If you can get like a nice glass crack pattern here, that'd be pretty nice. That spiders out. Maybe you get that, and then you get like a blood splatter on the other part of the glass. Oh man, so many stories. But yeah, hopefully that helps you. Your scale is looking much better now. I think, yeah, it's just a matter of popping those details out. And don't be afraid to add like the frame of the window coming out a little bit, just to get some more like shape definition. Pipes going down the sides of buildings, things like that. Just to break up the flat surface. That'll help you a ton. Justin, that's actually an interesting point, because like how we do it with gray box and stuff like that is, I mean, it's kind of how you do it for all games. The way that I'm doing the temple scene right now is essentially what you do. You block it all out. You get it looking right, and then gameplay works around it. Once that's good, then you art the shit out of it. Okay, so this is a little dark, so it might be hard for some to see. Compositionally, I mean, it looks like you're just detailing stuff out a bit more. Blockout wise, you also attached a reference. So for modeling, I've used large sections to speed things up. My original plan is to divide more into smaller pieces when I'm happy with the layout. Yeah, just kind of do some one-off stuff. That's good. All right, here, I'll open this up while we're talking about it. Problem I see is Unity is a ton of separate meshes. It's going to create a lot of draw calls. So what's your reasoning for being worried about draw calls? Morgan, if you don't mind me asking. Because detail-wise right now, this is making sense. This is looking good. It'd be cool to see some grabs of the... You're considering doing a VR test. Interesting. I was going to say, I think you have key areas that you want to focus on, right? So like you're going to build this space out, but like most of this stuff down here, way down here, this is going to be dark, right? That's all going to be dark. Down here, you probably won't see too much of. If you're thinking about a VR experience, think about where you're coming from. If you're coming from over here, let's do this. If you're coming from over here, oh geez, that's not helping at all. I want this one. So if you're coming from over here in the VR experience, you're walking forward. Maybe you're even starting here if you want to have the experience of walking up the stairs and then standing in front of this. If that's the case, then you only need to sell everything in this spot. Everything else can get super simplified, right? Like the details back here don't matter all that much. You won't be able to see the arches below the walkway here. So where they're at now, detail-wise, is fine. You could probably just bevel the edges and then add a tileable on there. Maybe standing in the center or inside of the ring. Yeah, so then if that's the case, let me see if I can't do this. So yeah, if you're standing just in the center, if you're standing right here, for example, or like where this guy's at, you just need to make this look really good and the centerpiece look really good. Then it's like sell this edge, because you'll be seeing a hard edge here, looking down into what is essentially going to be getting pretty dark. Let me erase this so you can see. So yeah, I mean the focus is here. Watch those lines. Make these look good. Make the centerpiece look really nice. That's probably where most of your focus is going to go. And then it depends if you want, like if you're going to do a VR experience and you're using Vive, this space here is perfect for that space. That space that you can freely walk around in. Because then maybe you can walk to anywhere inside of this square and look around. So all of your work goes here. And then it's just a matter of selling these shapes enough that they're there and believable, and go off into the distance of darkness. What's my Wacom doing? It's like wobbly. Because that'll drastically scale down the scope of what you need to pull off. Like, all this detail on the side here won't even matter. You know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? So it's basically high frequency or like high quality detail here, medium quality on these big guys, and then in the distance it's all just Vista, low poly, just making sure that the shapes are there to sell the details, and then I think you're good. Just do this so we can remove fallacies. Phallic shapes. Poetic. Is it poetic? Hopefully that has given you something to go off of. What's going on here, Dream? Poly count limits, ranges on characters. So poly count isn't really necessarily too much of a problem anymore. Oh, Morgan, sorry, I'll answer your question, Morgan. It doesn't have to be necessarily sculpted, just make sure that the attention to detail is there. Add things that you need to add in order to make it not look like geometry, if that makes sense. It does not have to be sculpted to look good. It can still be modular, like especially if you're going to make a high quality version of one of these. Just make one of them and then just dupe it 4 times. Yeah, so there's that. Okay, so back to the yeah, Limeforce will probably know a lot about VR because I have not yet played with VR as far as developing for it. So make sure to listen to what he's saying. They have VR at his school. Limeforce is from Game Assembly. So going back to where are we at here? going back to Dream's comment, poly count ranges aren't really necessarily a problem anymore. It's more about like making sure that the detail is there, and then going really heavy with just selling the overall shape around it. You change the entrance of the castle. So this is the old entrance. This is the new entrance. So this is better. Definitely look at reference. So I don't know how long you want to spend on this scene before moving on. So let me know if you want to move on, and then we can take what we learned from this and add it to your next scene. But make sure that make sure that make sure your pen's smaller. Make sure that these shapes are visible and you can see them. Make sure that where they meet makes sense. So like right now you have a really straight line here, right? And then you have these like little pieces here. You can hardly see these pieces. I feel like this roof might actually go out just a tad bit further. Maybe out here. And then make sure that these details are quite large so that they're visible. Let's do that. Something like that. And then how close spacing wise these are. This emblem would probably be suited more as like putting a wood panel there is going to be difficult. I think construction wise, I don't know why they would add that. I feel like maybe they would either paint it on the brick or attach a thing up here that scrolls down, and then you have like a banner hanging down the front of the building that has the lion looking thing on there. I think that's a lion. I don't even know. It's cool looking though. So like having a banner will make more sense, I think. And then structurally, I like what you're doing with the bevel in the inside here. It's irregular enough that you're not looking at it too much. I would add a character and find out what your scale is. Because like this guy here, right? With like 5 legs. Hey, I'm the king. His scale, like to these look really big right now. So I would triple check those. And then the amount of tiling on this, I would tile that up a bit more. As far as texture or texel density, like that's the tiling here and the tiling of these bricks to these bricks. These are like 2 different size bricks, which is very strange. I would match these 2. And then I think once you get those things figured out, we need to figure out stuff like based on how tall the character is. We need to start looking at like sconces or light sources that are on the side. Maybe there's things that come off the side that have banners that hang. Stuff like that. Because that's going to be really important. Because if you do all that stuff, it's going to help sell the shape of the structure. Let's see what made me use Moto. I like the way it models, and then I just started using it. I was a 3ds Max user as well beforehand, but yeah, I don't know. I switched to Moto, and I like the way that it models, the way it handles mesh. I need to make a video that just talks about the things I like about Moto. Okay, before feedback, after feedback. Color grading. Okay, so let's see here. The width of your door feels this. First, let's talk about all the stuff that you added. So you added wires. which is cool. You even added a little like dip in the wire, which is awesome. You added some molding on the top, which is really good. That helps a lot with the room. It's strange that okay, I guess I'll say this. The wood material on the bottom looks a little shiny, but it also looks cool. And right now it's being covered up by this rug. Most people's entrances to their apartments, unless it's like a hallway in a big house, most people have like a little welcome mat or something small like that. That would actually allow your material and that nice shiny specular that you're getting, or roughness material happening, get that here, which will look pretty cool. Make sure to add like a little bell or something, or like a thing to call them. And then yeah, I guess maybe in the molding here, maybe add like so if it was a side view right now, you're getting this. Maybe add something like that. Just a tad bit more of detail. The trim can also be the same color as this, or it can be the same color as the trim at the bottom. The breakup on your wall is pretty good. And the ceiling detail, I might make that a little bit broader. And then yeah, like not as reflective. That way you get a wider sheen across the surface of the ceiling. Overall though, it's definitely better. Oh, and then I was gonna say your door feels a little narrow. You should maybe look up online and see how wide doors are. And then yeah. All right, we're coming up on 10 minutes to stream end, or 7 minutes rather. So okay, before feedback, after feedback with color grading. Looking at the differences, modified as much as I could in 2 days. Had to work on dissertation during the weekend. Still need to change a lot. However, I had a chance to work a bit more on lighting. It's better. I think it is better. We'll look at the one with color grading so we can get a sense of so having the window lit like this is awesome. There's a better sense of just the space. This is cool that this is here now. If this is touching the ground, maybe you need some like ambient occlusion. I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. So that looks like that's like a palette. You just need something along that edge to kind of bridge the gap, or like that they're resting on each other. The door is better close, but now I need something on it. I think the door being narrower, and then maybe like a poster on it, or a dartboard or something will help a lot. Overall though, it looks much better. You have a laser line going on up here, which is essentially just like a really hard edge that happens. You could probably just mask that with dirtying it up a little bit. Just a little though. This looks really good though. I mean, even if you don't get to work on it more because you have to finish all the other stuff, I would say that it is better. Overall, the scene is much better. Yeah, super cool. Super cool. Let's scroll down some more. We got a gun. What is going on? Oh, there we go. I'll just be real quick with this one. So this looks like it's a material testing from Magic Bus. Oh, that's great. Come on. My internet's dying. So this wood looks pretty good. I would say that the grain patterns that are in it, add a little bit of that to your roughness. That way you get the grain being visualized in the material itself. Yeah, Head Trip, you seen some improvements? Dude, me too. It's pretty cool to see. I'll only look at this just because we're moving on time. I just wanted to say that the roughness right now is pretty uniform, and you can break that up by adding the grain into the roughness, just ever so slightly. It'll work wonders. All right, we got more tank action going on. This is looking pretty good, man. This right now, this box right here feels a little big, but I think you're doing this stuff for VR, so I would assume you're probably checking the scale while you're sitting in the seat. Make sure to do that if you're not, because this is awesome. Just keep going, keep detailing stuff out. It's looking good though, and I appreciate you adding a light in there so that I can get some shape separation. And don't be afraid to give things the base colors, like this like military green, army green, and this white in here, so just to help like separate shapes. Instigator gun is coming along nicely. Yeah, this stuff up here looks really good. Let's see what is going on here. Oh geez, where did I go? There's a reference you're going off of, Rainbow Six. Yeah, overall it's looking pretty good. I mean, I'm not a gun guy, so make sure that these pieces here are far enough away from the body right here. I don't know how close or far away they're supposed to be. The color of the interface affects your mood. Yes, Photoshop Dark UI is bae. This is looking awesome though. I just keep going. I don't have any comments currently for it. Just keep making all the little parts and getting it going together. Acrylics, working on some sand textures. So what was it? Josh Lynch has some really good sand that he did recently. You should see if there's a Gumroad tutorial on it or any type of tutorial, because he just covered all of it and it's awesome. Right now I would say that it's really soft, and it's more of like a limestone or like a sandstone that's been getting like plastered by wind. But yeah, definitely check out Josh Lynch's stuff for that. Hell yeah, here's the ref. Okay. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. Definitely tone down those details. Make it a bit flatter and focus more on like the micro material and then the striations in the albedo. Those striations will have a little bit more of a change in the roughness value, but other than that, it's going to be quite flat. And then these lines here, you're either going to do in the substance, or you can do them as like the master normal, and then apply the tileable texture you end up making for the sandstone on top of that. I think that's how I would approach it. All right, it looks like I got through everything. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in this channel. And oh, also, be sure to look this up. What the hell is going on? You think I combined two references? Let me see here. Oh, I did combine two references. Ha! Never mind. You're doing good with your... I was like, simple sand, and then I looked at another picture and it was like sandstone. I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. So this reference is to this material. So this is much more in line with what I was expecting. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, definitely check out Josh Lynch's stuff. And then poke Reeds, because Reeds is playing with sand as well right now for his Tatooine scene. He's learning Substance. This surface here, I would suggest... is this the ref you're going off of? That's crazy. Or is that the actual screenshot of the material? Oh, no, that's the material. I'm seeing the parallels. Okay. If you're going for this reference, I would tone down the contrast of these splotches, the darker parts of the material, and apply that as like a mask on top of your final wall piece. So like these drips and stuff, or put it in another UV channel where you're applying like a masks in Substance Painter, and then applying it on top of your base sandstone. Anywho, okay, all cleared up. Acrylics, does this look better? Is a little better. It's still like it still feels like right now it feels like when you're in the military and they drill a hole underground and you've got like all the rock wall, and to reinforce it they spray it with this like coating that thickens and hardens to help like reinforce the tunnel itself. And the reason I'm saying that is because it looks like there's details under here that have like a layer of stuff on top of them that are softening the details. I wish I had more to say about this. I'm terrible at Substance. But make sure to look at Josh Lynch's stuff and Ben Wilson. They should have some good work on that. On that front, Substance designer and just the understanding of how nodes are. There is a video that was posted in the art related section. I'll just give that to you guys. Boom. There it is. Alright guys, time for me to get out of here. I'll check you guys in 2 days or something like that. I'll see you guys Thursday. I'll try and get Ben's interview drinking session up on YouTube tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I'll leave you to this, guys. Enjoy the song. And I wonder if Chris is still streaming. We shall see. Good night to you. Let me see if Chris is still streaming. I don't think he is, but if he is, we're gonna rate him. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Loadout, man, thanks for the donation, dude. That's like huge. It means so much. So much to me. Following. Oh, he's not streaming anymore. Okay, guys. I'll check you guys later. Have a good evening. See you on Thursday.